And we're here live, ladies and gentlemen. David Estacado here with the Wrestling Wire Indie Spotlight. And tonight is a special episode of the Spotlight. We are sitting down with the evil one himself, Count Grog from GOUGE Wrestling, for their upcoming amazing event. It's their 19th anniversary show this weekend, this Saturday. And it's going to be an awesome show. We're going to talk about his time in the business, how long he's been working within the business. He's been everything between a manager, a ref, an owner, and now he is running GOUGE Wrestling. So let's give it a round of applause, all you wrestling fans watching at home and live on the interwebs, on the YouTubes, on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks. Raise your hands for the one and only, the evil Count Grog. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Good evening, Count. We were just talking a little bit before the show. You have been in the business for quite some time. You have quite the tenure here. And I think you may be correct. You might be one of the longest running or one of the longest people within the indie business here in the Carolinas.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Rick Link may have me beat if he still does something. But that might be about it.
Actually, I mentioned Rick Lee. You have worked with him a number of times, right?
Oh yeah, I was his manager most of the '90s and into the early 2000s. Quite a bit, all over the place.
Yeah, you got your start around 1970. I was doing a little bit of my homework here. You'd be surprised to hear that you do have a Wikipedia page, so that's a pretty cool little nugget of trivia for you, Count Grog. So tell me a little bit of how you got started. You got started in 1970s as a ref or a manager. How did you start off?
So, I've been a fan since the '60s. Actually, I started watching wrestling with my grandfather, studio wrestling up in Pittsburgh, and
Mhm.
used to go to all the matches in Johnstown. It used to be monthly, and then it was bi-weekly. And then I started uh, writing to people in the back of wrestling magazines. And one of those guys was Ken Jugan, who's Lord Zoltan. And he used to come. He used to help the promoter in Johnstown, um, and mostly putting posters up and stuff. And he'd be at ringside selling pictures. And I'd been corresponding with him. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to be at the show. Come meet me." So we became good friends. Every time wrestling was in Johnstown, he was there. And then one day, late '70s, he's like, "Hey, I've started my own promotion. You want to come referee?" Sure.
Wow.
No training. Um, Put me in there. Do you? He goes, "You've watched wrestling. Stay out of the way. Here's the finish." That was my training.
So it was like literally on the job training as it went through.
Training, yeah. And I did that off and on. He took me to some shows around like West Virginia and Ohio, and I'd referee a little bit, and then somewhere in the early '80s, a manager, I think it was Trader Tim Hampton, didn't show up, and the promoter's like, "Well, we need a manager." And it's like, "Well, I want to be a manager," and they're like, "Well, you got to take a bump tonight. Can you take a bump?" And I'm like, "Well, no, really don't take them." Been basically telling the guys not to do any rough bumps with me. Um, Old timer Luis Martinez, IWA fame, and all that was on the show, and he just grabbed me, picked me up, and body slammed me on the floor, and I bounced my head off the floor, and he's like, "He's alive, he can do it," and next time, tuck your head, first lesson. Um, so I went out and
Wow.
did a basic thing, and then so he started working with me before shows, taking me in the ring before the shows and teaching me little things, how to bump, well, he told me, didn't really show me how to throw a punch. He said if nobody could take a punch from me, they didn't deserve to be in the business. Um, so my punches were stiff for a long time before I kind of just basically learned to work punch on my own,
Wow.
and kicks too.
That explains a lot. Because I've been told that you have a pretty mean right, from what I hear, apparently.
Yes, it could still land if I do it. It just doesn't have the velocity it did in 1983. Uh, so
So
yeah,
tell
I
me a
did.
little bit about that debut, because I don't think you debuted as Grog yet, right? Tell me a little bit
No,
about punk rock.
no. Greg Mason was my referee name, and
uh,
my when I started managing, I became Greg Punk Rock Mason. I sprayed my hair purple. My mom made a pink coat, which I still have in a closet somewhere, um, but probably can't even come close to fitting in it because I probably weighed like 120 pounds back then. Um, so yeah, I was real flamboyant. I managed Zoltan. I managed this guy up in Ohio, J.W. the Snake Man Hawk. I managed um, Jim Jett, who was Jimmy Powell. He was one of the dirty white boys down in Alabama. Um, for a while, he was doing a Jim. He looked like Joan Jett, so they called him Jim Jett because we all had like purple hair, and um, it was a good gimmick. It was early '80s. It was punk rock, so it was cool. And then I left West Virginia in '84. I moved down here in '85, and I didn't know anybody. So I just didn't do anything in the business. There were no indies that I knew of running around here. Um, Zoltan tried to get me hooked up with Bert Prentice, and that never worked out because Bert was the manager, so he didn't want another manager. Um, and I just couldn't find any. I sent some pictures and stuff to different indie promoters, but no one ever booked me.
mhm.
I figured out I had a good run. So I was out of it for a while from 85 to 93. So
Were you still doing like refereeing at the time? Were you under the tutelage of anybody? Because you were around a lot of people from WCW.
um, in the 80s or the 90s.
I mean, let's just stick with the 80s and we'll move into the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, the 80s, I was doing the indies. I was working with guys like Louis Martinez, Bobo Brazil, uh,
Mm.
Jerry and Johnny Valiant, not Boogie, but Jerry and Johnny. I managed them one night. Um, God, who else did I work with? Mark Curtis was refereeing then, WCWF. Um, um, what's call it? Um, this guy JoJo Ape Andrews, who was Cassie Boo up in Calgary, who probably had he not had a heart attack and died at a young age would have been huge. I think
Mm.
Bret Hart talks about him in his book. Um, he was there. There, Bobby Fulton. Bobby Fulton was starting out
Really?
back then. Um, I left that area. I moved down here right before Mick Foley and Shane Douglas started working there. So I
Hmm.
did working with them up there then. And eventually ended up going up there and working with them. But so yeah, so really, it was a lot of older guys. The Sheik, the original Sheik. I refereed some shows for him. Bulldog Don Kent from the Kangaroos. Um, yeah, a lot of the old guys that I don't know if some of these fans remember or know who they are. Bobo Brazil, um, who I think most fans should know. Um, Coco butted me one night. I jumped up on the apron to distract him, and he was drunk. And,
Oh no.
but saw those little cartoon bluebirds you see on in the cartoons.
Yeah.
In my head right before I passed out.
Oh man.
I woke up in the dressing room. And he's got a bottle of cheap whiskey under my nose, trying to wake me up. He's like, "Here, kid, take a drink of this." I'm like, "Oh, I think that's responsible for knocking me out."
Well, after all that, you did eventually get in the ring at one point, right?
Yes,
Where was you actually wrestled a couple times?
I wrestled. Back then, I wrestled a couple mixed tags. It was me and um, Diane von Hoffman against Candy Devine and Mark Curtis. and I think one night it was Candy Devine and Bill Berger, who was a WWF jobber back then.
Yeah, Mark Curtis was a ref, right? He was a WCW ref.
Yeah, WCW ref, and Smoky Mountain. He was like the only ref in Smoky Mountain, I think. So yeah, so I had a bunch of those mixed tags, and we did a lot of angles with me and Mark Curtis, and you know, I don't think we ever had a single. We may have had one singles match that was god awful, because neither of us were really wrestlers. You know, he was a referee, I was a manager, and that was before he had just started training with Tanucci. And I worked some shows with Tanucci for Tanucci too, and then Dominic Tanucci, and he took me one time down to Guido Mongol School in Uniontown on a Sunday, and you know, for us to bump around. And Guido's like, "Oh, you want to train to be a wrestler?" I'm like, "Oh, I've already been trained." He's like, "Oh, really? Let's see." And for like the next 15 or 20 minutes, he put me in Stu Hart like shoot holds and rubbed my face.
Oh man. I was putting through your paces. Like you've had, like I said, like you've been involved, and you're just kind of reminiscing, kind of going through like some really cool moments. Is there any group or anybody that you managed that kind of stands out to you that you
Well,
can remember?
I had Lord Zoltan and Jim Jett were the Chiffon Ponies, a tag. Yeah, and good story on that. So Zoltan loves to go to strip clubs and different weird clubs, and we went to this S&M club. And it was like Halloween, and there were these two guys dressed like in a leather horse outfit, and
Oh my
they're
gosh.
like, and we're in our wrestling gimmicks coming out of the show, and we're like, "Who are you guys?" And then they're like, "We're the Leather Stallions. Who are you?" And Zoltan's like, "We're the Chiffon Ponies." It's a great name for us. So we became,
That's nuts. That's hilarious. And you just rolled with it. I guess we're the chiffon ponies.
yeah, we're the Chiffon Ponies. Yeah, um, yeah, that was a weird place.
I bet it sounded like it was fun though. Like, yeah, were you doing a wrestling show at the time, or were you just hanging out at the bar at this SM bar?
Yeah, we had done a show. I think it was in Akron, Ohio.
Uh
And
huh.
after the show, we went there afterwards, and
Wow. Is that like the craziest place you've been to after a show that you're
yeah,
allowed to talk to about on live
White
TV?
City. I don't even want to tell her what happened there. She doesn't want to know. Actually, I didn't want to know. There was like these girls like, "Hey, we've got a slave tied up in barbed wire back at our apartment. We're going to go back and attach electrodes to his genitals and shock him. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about it. We may get there and he may not be there, and you'll want to do that to somebody, and I'll be there, and you want to do it to
Oh
me."
wow. Well, I guess that counts for the weirdest thing happening after a wrestling show.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you had quite the history here. You had quite a group of people that you kind of brought together. Is there any client that you've had that you remember the most, or any client's reign that you helped out that comes out to mind to you that's pretty memorable?
Well, so after I moved down here, like I said, I got out of it for a while, and then '93, I'd gone to graduate from NC State. In '89, I went to grad school in Appalachian, got my teaching degree, and moved back here, and I was in the music business and booking bands and promoting concerts. And a friend of mine worked with somebody in Raleigh, excuse me,
Mm.
who someone in her office like was a ring announcer for an indie group in Smithfield, and
Mhm.
she's like, "Well, my friend Grog referees," and I said, "Well, I'd rather be a manager, but yeah, I'll referee." So they needed a referee, so I started refereeing for Carolina Championship Wrestling out of Smithfield. First show, worked for them, it was like I refed a chain match with Ivan Koloff against Khan the Warlord, and Jimmy Valiant worked somebody, and I refereed both of their matches, and because the other ref couldn't take bumps, so they brought me.
So you were the bump guy.
I was the
Everybody
bump.
was pretty much used to giving bumps to. That's funny.
Yeah, and then um, Henry Dean, I can't remember. He teams with Lewis Moore. They're the somethings. He's Matt Houston, I think he wrestles as. Um, was ringing it or was doing the TV commentary. So we started a feud. We had a match actually in Smithfield. I always, give him shit that he wins all these matches now, but he had to go in a 20-minute draw with me.
Oh wow!
On there, but so I did that, and while I was refereeing there, Major DeBeers started working for him, and I was like, this guy's like gimmick is perfect for me. And so they started to let me manage. So I started managing the Intruder and a couple like their crappy guys. I can't remember who they were. There were some people who didn't need to be in the ring there. There was some good talent too.
Yeah, I think like somebody here on the list is Boris Dragoff was one of them.
Boris wasn't there. So what I did, there was like a lot of power struggles within that group, and I split off. I decided I was going to start my own promotion with somebody who was doing some photography and stuff with them, Jack Cates, and we took Chris Bam Bam Stevenson, the Anderson, Pat CW, Jimmy Cicero, Brian Perry, Major DeBeers, Viper, a lot of their best talent, and started Southern Championship Wrestling, running in Europe.
So you started Southern Championship Wrestling?
Yes.
Wow. So it was just you and a bunch of guys who kind of defected from the original.
Some of them worked both promotions, but CCWA didn't last long much after that. They kind of faded out. I don't know. I think they had some internal issues. They may have went a year or two. I actually went back and did TV commentary for them for a while, and maybe or managed a couple of shows. But I had SCW going, and it took off immediately. And I had Boris Dragoff was Jimmy Cicero brought in all these guys that were trained by Ivan Koloff. So we had what was his name? Sean Powers and Billy Simmons, and all these. Boris Dragoff was one, and a bunch of guys. So we, had good Mike Justice. I remember Mike Justice from Virginia. He did some jobs on WCW TV, and we had a great crew, and we were immediately packing Durham. We didn't do real well. We did a show at the Ritz in Raleigh. Did horrible. The Stroh was working for us as Gorgeous George the third.
The third.
Yeah, and
I see here that you had a group. Like you eventually did build a stable. The Brotherhood.
Yes. Yeah, that was like an ever changing. Sometimes it got to the point on some shows I was out there every match. Like I was managing all the hills. It's like I don't need to be out there that much.
Yeah, true.
And let me plug my phone in. My battery's running low. It's saying.
No, I'm loving this. Like we're literally getting a history of like a lot of the stuff that you were involved with, and you even were involved in a match with the Jimmy Valiant Boogie Woogie Man.
I had so I had worked a lot. I'd worked with Boogie in CCWA, and then we brought him into SCW a lot. All the time. He had a good feud with De Beers, and but it was actually on we did a show in Valdez, and Brian Perry set that up, and we brought in he brought in Bo James from Tennessee, and Bo wanted to start using us, so we started going up to Tennessee, and that's the first place I wrestled Boogie on one of his shows.
What, you wrestled Boogie Woogie?
Yeah, so we did a thing where if the Beers, if the Beers beat Boogie, we shaved his head. If Boogie beat the Beers, he got 5 minutes with me. Um, so I'm like, the first time it's like, hey, we'll do a thing. I'll put you in the claw, pull my pants down, and show my underwear. I'll swing at you, put me to sleep. So we did it, and it worked. Um, and it, I so the next time we did it, I got like some funny underwear with like hearts or something.
That's
Then I
funny.
started going to women's underwear. Um, and we started doing it a lot. I mean, we were doing it on every indie promoter in North Carolina was using us at that time, having that
That's great.
where the Beers would work. We did it on a bunch of Wahoo was running shows down in a bar in Charlotte. We did it down there, and so I do the women's underwear. There was one day in um, Wilmington for like the Azalea Festival in front of thousands of people. I didn't know he was going to be there, and he was there. I get there, and he's out there at ringside selling, his gimmicks and that. And I'm like, oh, Boogie, I got my underwear in my bag. I'll come back out and do the finish. He's like, yeah, let's do that. So I went back, put on the ladies' underwear. I challenged him. He come in the ring, same thing. I take a swing at him. He pulls pants down. I got the ladies' underwear on and puts me to sleep. I'm going back to the dressing room, and David Swimmer from Friends is there.
That's
And
awesome.
he's following me back. It's like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He comes to the dressing room. It's like, you need to have me do this on Friends, which never happened.
That's
Uh,
oh
but he got a big kick out of it. And so, yeah, so I did a lot of matches. I did some similar thing with Ivan Koloff, where, if the Beers lost, um, Ivan got me in a chain match. So I
oh
worked Ivan
wow.
5 or 6 chain matches like that.
Jeez. Well, it looks like we got one of the guests here from one of the matches. Let's run down the card real quick.
Okay.
I don't have the graphics, but we do have the match card. And this looks to be a pretty stacked card. You always have some awesome matches. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 great matches here. And we're starting things off. First things first, Waylon Maines, the Ping Pong Master versus Mecha Mercenary is your first matchup.
So
You got
that's actually the main event.
oh, that's the main event. Oh, so you have it back.
Whalen's
Okay.
the champ, but that's actually getting changed because Mecca's got a double shot. So I'm switching that with Inuit Joe. So he's going to defend the title against Inuit Joe, and Mecca's going to work Sideshow Phil for the North Carolina title.
North Carolina. Okay. Well, there you get. Like they say, card is subject to change. That happens right here live. You're watching it live. It's already happening here live. And then we have Nina O'Rain versus Riley Rose. Look, Nina has been a force to be reckoned with. That cattle mutilator that she does is scary. And then we have 9 to 5 versus Kane Justice and Seymour Snot.
Yep, that's a tag title match. 9 to 5's been tag champ since November.
And then the 2 matches I've been excited about that I think are going to be the sleeper hits of this weekend are going to be Roosevelt versus TKO. The clash of the Roosevelts here. And then Snooty Fox versus Murphy Costigan. Look, I'm talking about stacked cards. You know how to pick talent. You always seem to find the diamonds in the roughs and seem to be able to put these matches together that it doesn't matter who wins or loses, everyone shines and the fans go away happy. Like, I don't know how you're able to put these together like this.
Yeah, I try to put on shows that the first match should be just as good as the main event. And
yeah, you're right. All these could be main event matches.
Right. And we actually do a show once in a while, usually in Raleigh at a place called Rebus, which we have one coming up here in June. We call it Bass Ackwards. And we start the show with the main event, and then we go through with what would be the opening match, and then we close it by singing the national anthem.
actually sounds like a lot of fun. That's actually pretty funny. That's pretty cool. Well, we have one of the talents here from one of these awesome matches. I've had him on here before. He is a hard hitter. He's an ex boxer, but he's been making his rounds in and around the ring, the North Carolinas and beyond. He hits hard. He hits fast. You don't know where he's coming, but tonight he's here with us. Wrestling fans watching all over the interwebs, on the YouTubes, on the Instagrams, on the Roku TV and beyond. I bring to you the one and only TKO. Welcome, TKO. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on here. I know it was last second. I thought I sent that out earlier, but thank you for taking your time and coming on here on the show with us. You heard a little bit. Did you know Count Grog has been in this business for like since 1970?
I ain't know that long.
78. I've been a fan.
78.
1970 was the first show I went to live.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
Oh man, you've seen the greats. You've seen real wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and man, I thank you. I would just thank you again for having me on here because again, I did get it late, but I also thank you for my wife grabbing this for me.
Hey.
This nice, beautiful thing right here.
Our new GOUGE Junior Heavyweight Champion. He won it a couple weeks ago in Fuquay, beating Roosevelt.
Yes, sir.
So this is his rematch clause match.
Oh yeah, I would say this for a great champion like Roosevelt, 4 years of defending this here title. I have nothing but respect and nothing but honor for him in the ring. He gave me another opportunity, and I'm just forever grateful. Grateful for Gouge for giving me this opportunity and believing in me as much as from day one I stepped in there and looking for opportunity. And Grog and Gouge promotion ain't done nothing but show me love. And especially this past week, I want everybody to know I've seen over 200 likes, shares, all that on Facebook, and my social media has been going crazy ever since I've lived out my dream and achieved something that I always been wanting for 6 years, and that's singles championship gold. And I just can't thank you guys enough. And this Saturday is only going to get harder. And now I know it's a target on my back. I know I got to even step it up to the next level. But I am so proud to be able to defend this company and say I'm a part of the 19th year of as Gouge Pro Wrestling.
That is awesome, and I can only imagine, especially with the background that Roosevelt has. You know, he has the MMA background. He does stunt work. He's been in and out of the different parts of MMA, and you yourself be doing some MMA. The fact that you managed to walk away with the win says a lot about your athleticism and your physique and tenacity. Like, and I've said it, that's no joke. That's not me blowing smoke up your ass. That's not me just blowing up. You're talking here. It's you hit hard and you hit quick. I've called many of your matches, and somehow I don't know, those hits come out of nowhere, or like from weird angles.
Right.
It's crazy how that boxing background really comes in handy, and just the stamina that you have. You and Rosa could probably go on for do a 30-minute man match and probably keep going afterwards another 30 minutes. Just how long you guys like to
I would
go in
say
there.
after that beating he gave me last time, I just said it on my podcast. Tune in on Mondays, the Knockout Hour, TKO on YouTube. But
Hey, you plug it, bro, plug it.
yeah, we just had a good one. I just got off. We got 219,000 viewers, and I just got a sponsorship from Monster Energy drink, dog. I just found out.
That's awesome. Hey, we need to talk after the show because we talked a little bit about your radio show too. Anyways, so yeah, we'll talk.
But I would say, man, like the beating I took that last match is by far the hardest matchup I have ever been in. Again, to beat someone of his stature, I was able to again overcome the odds of it all. But beyond that, I was really bruised up the next day. Um, I mean, really, honestly, it took me a couple of days to get back in the gym. It was pretty tough, but I know he's gonna come out just as vicious as he was before, and I know how to
If
kind of
not more.
capitalize this time. Yeah, oh, he's gonna come out even worse. It's gonna be worse.
I gotta ask, what are you doing to prepare yourself for this? And before you answer, Grog, after the big match 2 weeks ago, who came to you first? Was it Roosevelt who came to you for a rematch, or how did this part two come about?
But I actually have them in a program, so I got them programmed in for the next few shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you mentioned the Iron Man match, maybe in Raleigh in June we may do an Iron Man match.
I'm there for it.
Oh, okay.
And TKO's mentioned something about wanting to do a no ropes match, taking the ropes down.
Really, TKO. And
Absolutely.
that's right up his alley too.
Exactly, because I want to let it be like one of these things where my course to again prove to everybody I earned this, and at the same time, some people like to call me Hogan. However, it wants to be said, it will be earned one way, like a hook by a crook. It doesn't even matter. Like I know that with the crowd that's behind me every single time I step out there, I have to do everything it takes to overcome all these obstacles, and I want to prove to them I can go that far with him. So, like I said, for me, I definitely did call. I do want the ropes to be taken down, and I want everybody to be around there to know that I will go toe to toe with someone that has his background, his pedigree to prove that I do have a purpose in the future in this company, and I'm gonna go through him if I had to.
With the no
Wow.
ropes down, that may be something good for Ruby Mania on Hopscotch weekend, where we have that time in between matches to put the ropes back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I've been to quite a few of those Ruby Manias. If you have not been to a Gouge Ruby Mania, you are missing out. It is a party out there. The vibe is amazing. The bar, the drinks are great. The fans are crazy, and I love the energy. The last time I was there, I was doing recording and doing commentaries. I was recording. We literally, the match went from inside the ring to outside the ring to across the street back to to the venue. It's all over the place. A fire truck got stopped in the middle of traffic to watch some of the matches. It was that crazy. Gouge Wrestling at Ruby Mania every year is a must attend.
absolutely, absolutely. And now, like I said, I'm all for it because you gotta get the people what they want. Gouge has always brought a great crowd, amazing crowd that grow every single time. Like this Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
May 24th. I know you already announced it, but I'm excited. I got a promo to drop. It'll be out tomorrow to address again Roosevelt that hey, this Saturday at the Steel Stream Brewery, and that's gonna be at 6901 NC 54 in Melbourne, North Carolina, 3 o'clock start time. Make sure you're out there. But
Make
it's
sure
a
you get your tickets while you still
absolutely.
can.
Free tickets.
Absolutely free. Only thing I do is just come out there, show up, and have a good time with us to celebrate 19 years of Gals Wrestling. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I love it. So we'll go back to the question: what are you doing to prepare yourself, like mentally and physically, for this weekend? Just you said to yourself it was a daunting task
Mhm.
last matchup. You took a while to recover it, and it took a while to get back into a routine. Are, what are you doing to prepare yourself?
I've been focusing more on noticing that my last mistakes I made in that match that almost compromised me was knowing that I had to work on my legs because again, like you said, the cardio. Because
Mhm.
he took me to deep waters in that matchup, and I kind of got winded at times where again he kept giving me German suplex after German suplex. So knowing after taking that many suplexes, I think it was about maybe 5 or 6 of those, even a vertical suplex for a while. I knew that my legs were starting to get they wasn't under me towards the end, so I felt a little worried about that. Also, like a back workout, I did a lot of deadlifts. We'll go back and do another one this week just to make sure again when I take I know several impacts of like say a German shepherd, I mean German suplex or a vertical suplex, which he did multiple times, and that at least this time that if I do have to take that impact, I just bounce back up, be ready to go and attack. Um, I do know that last time I was really compromised in so many different ways because of his experience, knowing that he had to pull some things he haven't shown me in the past that I did not see coming. But I know that this time I gotta be well aware to know that hey, he's coming right at you. Find a way to go around him instead of right at him.
Mhm.
Yes.
Any
Yes.
to tell the fans watching at home, or the fans who are watching now
What's that?
before I let you go? Any last words you want to give out to the fans, TKO, before I let you go, before I run out of time here? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, man. So what I was to say to everybody, man, I thank y'all for the time and having me on here. It's been a fun, exciting time. But I will say Saturday, your gals junior heavyweight champion is going to lay it all out there. Roosevelt, I know that you're ready. Stay ready because I'm doing the same thing these next couple of days. As I know that I'm gonna face you one more time, toe to toe, face to face. That I'm not scared of you, and I will again do whatever it takes that I can physically be capable of to stop you in order to bring this back home to me and mine. So man, I say peace and love to you, brother. But Saturday, you're gonna have a fight on your hands. Because I'm doing
Mm.
everything it takes to defend my championship. Please believe that. And thank you, Gouge Wrestling, again for believing in me. After all these years, I know this company has shown me nothing but love, and I'm going to show y'all why you picked the right champion. And knowing that going forward, there's going to be a bright future, just like Roosevelt. I will carry on the same honor, but I'm going to prove that Saturday. Be ready, 3 o'clock.
That's right. Well, TKO, thank you for joining us here. We're actually going to go through the crowd one more time and give our prediction. If you want to stick around for that, give your predictions for some of the matches. Love to have you on if you're interested.
I'm going to go ahead and dip off, man. I'm a little hungry.
I bet. Well, you enjoy dinner. Thank you so much for your time. Good
All
luck
right.
this weekend. Have an amazing, amazing weekend, TKO.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Take it easy. He is what a champion should exemplify. You see that the work he put in, the humbleness, just the fact that he not only thanked you but thanked the fans as well. He's hungry and he's willing to prove that he deserves the accolade that he was able to win last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he has built a following as like one of the more popular wrestlers in Gouge right now, especially in Fuquay. Even though he's not from there, the crowd in Fuquay, the kids love him. He is like one of our definitely most popular wrestlers.
Hey, he's a hell of a talent, and like I said, you know how to pick the diamonds and the roughs and putting these matches together and just bringing the talent together. And now you have TKO as your current Gouge champion. That's going to be a hell of hell of a match this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's run down the card here. Let's start it off things with Snooty Fox versus Murphy Costigan. Look, I have to give it to
Lord
Snooty.
Murphy Costigan.
One more time.
Lord Murphy Costigan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lord Murphy Costigan.
Yeah.
Look, Snooty has been a staple at Gouge for quite some time. He has yet to slow down. The Lord is up to his shenanigans on this one, but I think Snooty Fox, not for a lack of a really terrible pun, might be able to outfox him here on this matchup.
He, the Lord, just how I find people. I went to the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame inductions in Iowa last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he was there with Bo James in the group from Tennessee, and he apparently was the star pupil of Les Thatcher's training class. He didn't work on the show there, but I just saw. I looked at his size, and from Dr. Tom Pritchard told me about him standing out. So I said, "Do you want to come work for me?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it's hard to get him. He's booked a lot in Tennessee, but I've had him times now to come in. He's a good talent. I could see him going somewhere.
Anybody that comes out of Tom Pritchard's school is essentially a shoo-in for being quite the gem. And the fact that you got two big beefy boys going at it, that's going to be a fun match.
Yeah, I look forward to that. It's going to be hard hit.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a brawler of a match. And we got some tag team action. We have my money's going to be going on Snooty winning on this one. I don't know who you think might win, but I think Snooty Fox might still walk away with the win.
I'm going to abstain from picking winners. I'll let
you. Okay, then I'll do it. You told me about the matches, and I'll pick. All right, next one. Unless card is subject to change, we have 9 to 5 versus Kane Justice and Seymour Snot. I know Seymour Snot usually tags with some other people every now and then. But I don't think how long has he been tagging with Kane Justice? Or is this kind of a never? So this is the first time.
Kane's was a regular in CWF there, Mid-Atlantic, out of Burlington. So he's from the area. So I've been trying to use them for a while. I know Julian uses them a lot in um, um, High Point over there. So I got them for a couple shows coming in, and I just figure, oh, you're a local boy. I'll team them with the popular Seymour Snot, 9 to 5. While they're heels, the crowd loves them. They come out dancing to the Dolly Parton 9 to 5 song, and every match they have a lunch break, a union mandated lunch break where they stop the match and go eat lunch.
I've done that a couple times. Yeah, sometimes you need to have those gains don't happen themselves. You have to take that break to get that protein in. I get it.
Right.
I
Yeah, need some.
uh I I'm gonna have to give it to 9 to 5 here, considering that Kane, Justin, Seymour, Snot are just now kind of starting to tag. I think the more whaled oil machine of a tag team might have the advantage here.
Yeah, well, um, you never know. But like I said, I hope for use Kane Justice a lot more. He's a
Hmm.
good talent, and Seymour is the bedrock of Gouge. He's been there from the beginning. He was there from SCW um,
Hmm.
into the transition into Gouge. So yeah,
Yeah, he's been there for one of the longest from GOUGE Wrestling since its inception.
yep.
Mm. Then we have Nina O'Rain versus Rayleigh Rose. Look, these may be women competitors, but doesn't mean they don't hit just as hard or harder. These ladies have been going at it for quite some time, and this one's going to be hard to decide. Um,
Yeah,
Trying to remain unbiased here, even though I both know both of these amazing talents. I may have to give the edge here to Nina O'Rain.
Nina's been with Gouge the longest. I used Rayleigh last year at Ruby Mania. Um, for the first time, and so we're bringing her back. And Nina's kind of a regular. If I have girls matches, I usually have Nina in it. She was out.
Hmm.
She had some health issues last year, so she missed a lot of time. But she's back, and she's been on a show though. Her last Gout show earlier this year in Fuquay, she met Ella Alejandra J, who or J Alejandra. I'm sorry,
Jay
and
Alejandro, yeah.
she gave her the poison apple and knocked her out to pin her. So she got a little.
Yeah, never trust the apple. Yeah, I got in trouble with that almost a couple times with that Jay Alejandro.
Yeah.
Speaking of talent, you're not going to believe who just stepped into the back.
Who's
Mr.
that?
Roosevelt himself. I think he must have watched what Teddy said and didn't like it. Let's bring him on. Wrestling fans all over the world and on the awesome WrestleNet, I bring to you Mr. Everything, Mr. Everywhere, Mr. Roosevelt. How are you doing, sir?
What up? What up? What up? Grog, what's going on, my grandfather?
What's going on, Roosevelt?
Nothing much, nothing much. Hey, let me tell y'all something before I get started. Before I respond to whatever TKO said, because I really don't care what he had to say. I want you guys to know something. I would not be who I am today had it not been for Grog. And I mean that in all wholeheartedness. When I moved to North Carolina, when I moved back to North Carolina from New York, the first independent show I was able to do was with Grog in GOUGE Wrestling out there in Apex, North Carolina at the Iron Horse Bar.
Oh
That
yeah.
was my very first show in North Carolina. And that was when Grog told me I was trash.
I
And I
remember.
was. I was. I didn't have no wrestling gear, no nothing. I just came from New York and just did my little couple shows I did up there in New York and New Jersey. And but he helped me. He put me in position with people that could actually guide me, like a scrapyard doll, like Alex Adonis, like Leatherface, like Jimmy Jack Funk Jr., like all these different guys assisted me in some kind of way. Seymour Snot, they've always gave some advice, and Grog was one of those guys that always would come up to me and say, "Look, man, I think you need to try this, or this do that." Hey, as always, so much Grog for everything the opportunity you've given me. I know every time I've ever got on, Grog would say, "Hey,
Hey
But make it
Roosevelt,
happen.
it's probably because
Those
you're
guys
traveling,
get
but you seem to be cutting out there.
You're cutting out. We're just getting a couple words here and there.
oh, all right,
Yeah.
But thankfully, the words we keep hearing
all
is
right.
my name. So
Give me
we're
one.
cool with that.
That's what she said, right?
No, I mean I have to give it
All
to
right,
you.
hear me
Yeah,
now? Am I better?
yeah, a lot better.
A lot better.
All right, hold on. I'm about to pull up to the house, and you should be able to hear me. How about now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So as I was saying, thank you, Grog, for every opportunity you ever given me. He's one of those guys that would give to the guys as long as they are respectful and they are somebody that's worth giving to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Grog has helped me a hell of a lot. I know if I ever got on social media and said I want to get in a ring with somebody, Grog would always inbox me and say, "Hey, if I could make it happen, I got you." Um,
Yeah, I one of the things at this point, I don't make a lot of money doing this, but I like to be able to help young guys and guys succeed, and anything I could do to help a wrestler's career, even if it's just being the best wrestler in Raleigh, uh, or be able to go travel around the country or world, or be on TV for WWE or AEW or Ring of Honor, or whoever. If I could do anything to help wrestlers, I want to do it.
And that's true. Like you gave me my chance to kind of be a manager and come in and out of the ring. Like you gave me a chance to come out and do commentary at your shows and just kind of help out. Like you really do care about the business and about the talents, and just making sure that these talents get their, have eyes on. And I said it before, I said it times, you're one of the good ones in the Carolinas that, you actually care about putting on great shows, and you care about the talent who come out and put on those great shows for you.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, what did Teddy say?
He said he's ready for you.
Yeah, he said he's ready for you. He said that he took quite the beating 2 weeks ago. It took him a bit to recover, actually get back into it. But he's learned to kind of look at the flaws and some of the mistakes he made, and he knows you're ready. He knows that you're going to come at him, and you're going to come in harder than you did last time. But he's ready for you, and he's here to prove that there's a reason why he became the champion and why he's going to stay the champion, and he's going to bring it just as hard.
He also said,
Well, let me.
he didn't take enough suplexes from you last match.
Yeah, you mentioned you gave him 6 duplexes.
And look, I wasn't even counting. I was just going until I got tired, and I didn't get tired. I just realized that I didn't have all day to keep doing that. Or Grog, give us a 1 hour Iron Man match, and I'll be able to do more.
Actually, that's funny that you mentioned that, because that was brought up. An Iron Man match was brought up, and the possibility of removing the ropes for that Iron Man match.
I'm with it. I am with it. But there's several reasons why I did what I did. First of all, I started wrestling with Grog 2010. It took 12 years for me to get a championship match and to actually win a championship in GOUGE Wrestling. I was not letting little Teddy come in and be here for not even a cup of coffee and to think that he was going to be able to get a win over me. When I first started wrestling with GOUGE, I remember a match I had with Scrapyard Dog. And I remember that match vividly because Grog said, "It's going to be you and Scrap. Good luck, kid." And at that time, I did not know what that meant. Okay. I did not know what that meant. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. I did not know what that meant, but I was ready for it. And Scrap went in there and he tore my ass loose. He he really showed me what this thing was all about. And when we got to the back, he looked at me straight in the eyes. He said, "You gain my respect because if anybody else I'd have did that same thing too, they'd have walked off crying, they'd have never come back, they'd have gave up their boots. You took that beating and you walked away like a man should. You stood right here in front of me as a man should, and I respect you as a man and a competitor. And when the time comes, you'll get yours back." Teddy got to earn my respect. Teddy's got to be able to come up here and say, "Yo, I stood toe to toe, and I didn't cry, I didn't run and hide," and that's what he's got to deal with on the next turnaround. That what I gave him this past time was a sample. Okay, when I say I can do this all day, I can do this all day. So the next time he and I step in the ring, he doesn't have enough time. That's less. That's he don't have. It's not enough time for the rest of this year for him to prepare for what I'm getting ready to do to him next.
Mm. So you're saying that it doesn't matter what he does this week, he's just not going to be prepared for the beating and for the lesson that you're trying to teach him. Okay.
Yeah, and because professional wrestling is all about lessons. There's lessons in everything that we do, inside and outside of the ring. Teddy has to learn something. Teddy has been walking around for a while thinking that he is owed something or he has done this long enough to get certain things, get certain opportunities. You ain't done nothing. You ain't been nowhere. You ain't been in a ring with nobody. You don't work anywhere. You need to be able to get in the ring and be humbled. You need to get in the ring and get respect beaten out of you and into you. That's what I'm going to do.
Do you think that
And I'm going to make sure I have some milk before the match. And if anybody knows me, knows what what me having milk signifies.
Yeah. Roosevelt and his milk. This man does not drink water. He drinks his milk to get ready. And when he drinks milk, oh, it's like Popeye. It's like Popeye and his spinach when it comes to Roosevelt and his milk. Tell me I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
I had the pleasure to do a couple shows with you and travel with you. And I gotta say, man, you have the experience, you have quite the knowledge. I'm excited for this match, and I can't wait to see what happens this Saturday between you two. If it's any inclination of the brutal battle you guys had 2 weeks ago, then this is going to just probably escalate to even greater heights and lengths because you guys are both deserving of that title. I just want to see what lengths you guys are willing to go to receive that title.
Absolutely. And my main thing is it's not even about the championship no more. It's like what you said. It's about the title. My title is the guy who likes to fight. And Teddy's going to find out firsthand why I am titled the man who likes to fight.
Well, you mentioned Teddy a couple times. You know, I don't know if you saw what he said, but if he's watching right now, any words you would like to say to Teddy before this weekend? And then after that, just to close it out, anything else you would like to say to the fans before we close this out?
To the fans, I want to say thank you. And I hope that you guys come to this show with an open mind, open eyes, open ears, and a strong heart and strong stomach. To Teddy, the only thing I have to say to him is I'll see you Saturday.
Ooh. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Roosevelt. This is going to be a crazy, crazy weekend. I wish you both the luck. I hope you have an amazing match this weekend. I can't wait to hear what happens.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on. Grog, I love you, man. I appreciate you so much.
I love you, Roosevelt. Best dressed man in Gouge.
True. True.
Always see.
That's
And I'm second to
absolutely.
him. That's all I say. The best dress, always looking fresh. Always.
I'll see you Saturday.
All
All
right.
right, take it easy, Roosevelt. Wow. You can see and hear and feel the intensity off of both of them after every interview. They have the determination, they have the will, they're ready. They're hungry. They're both hungry competitors, Grog.
It's going to be a great match. It was a great match. They've had several already. It's going to be another good one.
It just seems like you're gonna have to like find ways to kind of elevate each match every time they clash.
Yeah.
Let's finish this out. We have two more matches. You think things have flipped around? So we have Mecha Mercenary versus Sideshow Phil.
That's the North Carolina title match. Phil is, he admits he's not the world's greatest wrestler, but the fans love him. He's kind of wacky, and he just finds ways to win. Mecca is the biggest guy we have in Gouge right now, over 400 pounds. He's been all over the place. Um, had an indie feud with Abyss. Um, he's also the Gouge Spaceman Frank Hickey Scientific Memorial Wrestling Trophy holder. Mecca is.
So that might give the advantage to Mecha Mercenary, but I'm gonna have to go with the wild card here. I think Sideshow Phil may win that champion's advantage.
Phil finds ways to win. I don't know how, but he does.
And then the main event, which, like we said, cards have changed and it's changed here live on the show. Waylon Mays versus Inuit Joe.
Yeah, a lot of you know Inuit Joe. He wrestles other places as Corey Edsel, but he entered Gouge as initially Eskimo Joe, and then said that he found the word Eskimo being derogatory, so he changed it to the native Inuit Joe. Tough competitor.
Oh, he's a hard hitter himself. He's no joke.
He's no joke. He's the real thing. He's been in WWE, training down there in Florida, NXT. So he is one tough hombre. I've managed him quite a bit, and then but Waylon has been champ for over 2 years now, and he's knocked back all challengers. He's beaten Inuit Joe before. I don't know if he can do it again. We'll see what happens this Saturday.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his matches, and I've seen them go at it a couple of times. He's been back and forth, but I'm gonna have to go with the ping pong master. Maybe walking away with this here. It's not gonna be easy,
Right.
but it's gonna be a fun match regardless. And I just showed it, and I'll show it again. There's the poster for this weekend, the 19th anniversary GOUGE Wrestling Show happening this Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Steel String Brewery in Mebane, North Carolina. You don't want to miss it. You have heard some of the amazing matches are going to happen here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches happening. I can count. I went to public school. And Count Grog here has kind of put these together, and it's going to be an amazing show. Don't miss out. They also have a couple of shows coming up. I do have the rest of the calendar. They have another show June 14th, and Rebus, and then August 16th.
August 16th is to be determined where it's going to be.
Okay.
So we're not quite sure where it's going to be.
And June 14th?
June 14th is Rebus and Raleigh.
Okay. And then we have September 6th. That's the Ruby Deluxe.
Ruby Mania.
Uh-huh.
Then we've got one September 13th, a week later, at Fuquay at the Mason Jar.
Mm-hmm.
October 25th, we're back at Rebus for Halloween. And then we've got one there November. I'm drawing a blank on the date. Do you have that?
November 15th in
November.
Fuckway.
It's going to be back at the Mason Jar in Fuquay, and we're probably talking about a War Games card with the cage. So I'll let you know. And then we close the show out, the year out, and there's shows probably still to be added to the schedule. But we've got a December show in Raleigh for the Makers Society Christmas Bash. Last year, we kind of stepped outside the box and did all Christmas characters. So all the wrestlers changed their persona for the show. Seymour was Elf on the Shelf, and he wrestled Sean Cruz, who was playing the role of Cousin Eddie from the Christmas Vacation movie. Santa Claus wrestled Krampus last year. The year before, Santa Claus wrestled the Grinch. So I'm sure Santa Claus will be against somebody.
That's awesome. Well, there you have it. There's their upcoming shows, but don't miss out again this Saturday, their 19th anniversary show. We'll be back with some more information on those upcoming shows coming out throughout the year. This has been GOUGE Wrestling. This has been the evil one, the great Count himself, Count Grog. Thank you so much for your time. Anything else you want to tell the fans? Anything else you want to get into that you might have coming up?
Go to Facebook, GOUGE Wrestling on Facebook. Check us out. Follow us there. We have a page and a group, both GOUGE Wrestling. Find out where we're coming. We do a lot of live interviews on there. Promos for the show coming up, which TKO says he's going to be sending one tomorrow.
Watch that. Watch the socials. That he's going to drop that promo tomorrow. GOUGE Wrestling will be dropping that tomorrow.
Yeah, and all our shows are free, fans. They're always usually at a bar or a brewery or our art gallery, and we never charge. Everything's free. So come check it out. They're family friendly, and there's beer.
What more can you ask for? Beer, wrestling, and family fun. I mean, yeah, that's a day out. Well, that's the show. This has been the Indie Spotlight with the Wrestling Wire for GOUGE Wrestling and Count Grog. Thank you so much. Let's go into the comments before we leave out for the night. We have Marvin Wall saying salute. Miss Jamie Boland saying what's up. It's been a while. Thank you so much for joining us and watching. It has been fun. And as my partner likes to say, yeah, it's been fun. It's been real fun. And if we don't see you next time, you know, we'll see us. We'll see us at the Indies.
Thanks, man.